Welcome to Rock Solid Productions, where we're going to talk about the video game crash of 2017. It's already happened. Confused? Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Gary here with Rock Solid Productions, and I know that intro was a little controversial, and this is a little bit of a different type of video than what I traditionally do here on the channel. But stay with me. See, my good friend Jeff over at SmashJT just recently posted a video right up there that you can check out talking about a potential crash in the video game system. And what he was aiming towards, or kind of pointing towards, was the flood of freemium games where it's, you can initially start playing for free, but you have to pay a premium to continue on and to level up, where it's less about skill and more about that almighty dollar. And I don't disagree that there is an absolute glut of casual games out there right now for smartphones. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing, but I think he's missing the mark a little bit, and I think we are already starting to get to in a bit of a depression before the crash or after the crash. And I'm talking about games with single player modes. See, all of the manufacturers out there, from EA to Sony to Nintendo to Microsoft, they've been pushing for years online play. Xbox Live, get you online, play against your friends. You don't just play in your living room anymore. You can play against anyone in the world, and that's great as a bonus. But for core gameplay, I think you're definitely missing the mark. And kind of where I'm coming at from this was one of our commenters that we had on our 6-month recap on the Nintendo Switch. His user ID is Sushi Man. You can check out the comments on that video if you would like to. But he had initially thought that the video was awful. I asked him what he thought that we could improve or change, and his reply was complaining that beta server tests are permanently open is a bad complaint, as is complaining that a game that just started development doesn't have any details out to the public. Especially the way the complaint is worded and delivered makes it seem as if it isn't an industry standard for the most part. Issues with online service, UI, form factor, etc. are all valid. It just makes the video come off as ill-informed or a bit of a hot take. He's replying specifically to my complaint that for Splatoon 2 and for ARMS on the Nintendo Switch, there was a finite window where you could go and demo the game. I looked at it as a game demo. He's looking at it as a sweat test for the servers, and he continues here. It'd be better to compare Splatoon 2 and ARMS tests to the Overwatch beta or TF2, Meet Your Matchup Update beta. Both were only offered for research on the game servers for bug tests and server stability, which are all common for games whose content is mostly based where? In its online features. And that's where my point of contention. I have no problem with manufacturers doing server tests. None whatsoever. Don't call it a demo, don't call it a beta. That's a server test. That's a sweat test. But let me expand on this point too. So, Battlefront 2 from EA. The game Star Wars fans wish that had been made for years, right? Primarily online only. There's no single player campaign in this. There's no story mode. None of that. Okay, fine. I bit the bullet because I'm a sucker for Star Wars. Always have been. And I wanted to play. I remembered how good the original Battlefront games were, and I wanted to see what EA could do with it. And for what it is, it's okay. But I wanted this for what Battlefront used to be. And this just isn't it. But here's the other thing. So this is Battlefront 1. Battlefront 2, as of the recording of this video, is getting ready to come out in just a few weeks, a little bit over a month, I think. What happens to Battlefront once Battlefront 2 comes out? Well, servers will be reallocated as the server load goes down. Fewer and fewer people will be playing this. And eventually what will happen, as the same thing with many multiplayer games, is that the servers will go dark, and I will have myself a nice coaster. Now, where this all came up was talking about demos again, and the fact that the ARMS and the Splatoon 2 demos were only available to play during a finite window. As far as I'm concerned, that was the first time I had ever run into that. I don't play Steam. I don't play, like I mentioned, first-person shooters, really. I have Call of Duty Black Ops I play from time to time. But the nice thing about that game is the fact that, yes, it is heavily based in multiplayer, but there's a solid first-player, one-player-only platform or campaign that you can play on that. So when those servers go dark, I still have something that I can play. Now, and that's my biggest concern here, is manufacturers, developers, studios are making such an effort towards online multiplayer and making that such a huge focus. Again, Battlefront is 99%, the original 99% online. You can't do much offline. What happens when those servers go away? And I know critics out there will say, if you only paid $60 for it, you played $60 worth of gameplay, thank you for your money, now please buy our next version, newest version of this. But here I have 2 copies of The Legend of Zelda. This is the version for my Super NES, this is the version for my Super Famicom. Except for dirty contacts and maybe worn out save state batteries, these cartridges work the same today that they will tomorrow than they did 20 years ago. The games are identical. There's no way to add content to them, I'll give you that. But there's no content that will disappear. There will not be a day that I come over here and I plug this into my Super NES or my Super Famicom or my Gamer's Tech 16-bit HD or my Retrobit Trio Plus or any of those systems, and this game will not work. That is happening with some games now that are in development and that are out there, that the single player mode is basically obsolete. Yes, it needs to have online as a portion of the game, but it can't be the game in and of itself. What do you think? If you do have any comments, leave them down below. Let me know what you think. I could be all wet here. I could be the type of person that has held on to this industry for far too long, and I'm just getting left behind. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm not really, because I enjoy new games. I want the new consoles, the new toys, the new bells, the new whistles. But if this is just the direction that the industry is going to go, I'll go to swap meets and I'll go to fairs and whatnot, and I'll continue to collect my retro stuff and have a good time playing those. And the bad thing about that, though, is developers don't get any new source of income. They've already made their money on those, so kind of hard there. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. You can also email me at rocksolidmail@gmail.com. Hit me up on Twitter. I do also want to thank Jeff at SmashJT. He had a very interesting take on a possible crash. This is one that I think we're already in the midst of and will only get worse before it gets better. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.